Welcome back to another episode of the Dotted Line Podcast. I am your host, DJ Scotty Two Dotty, aka Mr. Make You Move Your Body, aka Ray Dot. And we back again, episode number 8. We are knocking them out. We love to see that. I'm grateful again to be on this platform with 7 more good topics. Um, Last episode, I felt like that was my best work, but my best work is yet to come because this is ever flowing and ever growing. So I'm thankful for another moment to be able to present, these new topics before you. And again, I just pray something is said, pray something is comprehended that you guys can use for your week and get through your week because day by day we learn something new. Day by day we learn who we are. So I just pray that something is said that can get y'all through this hectic journey, but it's still a journey nonetheless. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So 7 topics for today. We're gonna talk about Miss Caitlin Clark. Um, it's one topic. Um, Another topic is it would all make sense. It would all make sense. Plain sight prejudice, staying locked in. You are your own help. Manifest destiny in the ununited states. Whew. We got a little bit of everything. We kind of got some politics, some sports, some insightful, stuff. But I just feel like every time I choose these topics, and again, I don't have writers. I don't have a team. It's literally just me, myself, and I, and God. And I try to watch um news stories, pay attention to what's going on in society. I'll probably watch a documentary, stuff of that nature to kind of, um, help me out with some stuff, and then I kind of put it together, and you see um the finished product on each episode. So I feel like these topics are worth talking about. So each time I jump on a pod, you see these things manifest the way that they do. And again, I just pray that something is said to help you guys get through the week, give you something to think about through the week. But yeah, without further ado, let's get to our first topic, and we are at, let's just say, 3 minutes. I'm gonna start with Miss Caitlin Clark. All right. I will admit, um, I'm not a big watcher of WNBA or any women's sport. Probably outside of volleyball. I fuck with women's volleyball. Um, there there's some incredible athletes in the volleyball circuit as far as women go. With basketball, it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm so used to a certain level. Not to sound sexist or like biased, but I'm just kind of used to seeing certain things um while like I'm watching basketball. Not to take nothing, absolutely nothing away from um these ladies who go out and compete, put in the work to be athletes. But I feel like watching Caitlin Clark, this is the first time I've ever seen a female play that has the bravado, the swagger, the persona of of a male. And when she steps on the court, you just see just the the essence of just everything that she has done. She has perfected it as far as her point guard skills, the shooting ability, the fact that she can shoot the piss out the ball is just phenomenal. Like her shooting ability, I feel like that's what really separates her from everything else. Because it's just the fact being um, from a woman's perspective, as far as is it being a woman, not me being a woman, but just from that perspective of seeing a woman shooting ability, I've never seen that. I've never seen that, and like and she's doing it with no hesitation. She's doing it unrelentlessly too. Like she's pulling it from across half court. Like definitely the female Curry, and I just definitely want to give her like her flowers though on today because it's just even if she don't win the national title because I think she has made it to the final four. I think she faced UConn pretty soon. But even if she don't win, I feel like she has cemented herself as probably the greatest female woman basketball player ever. Perhaps she's definitely sitting at that table with the Lisa Leslie's, the Cheryl Millers, the Brittany Grinders, the Sue Birds, the Diana Taurasi's, Candace Parker. Like, she's sitting at that table with them, women. And like the fact that she, is this, you know, can do it all from a point guard standpoint, and she's getting offers from the big three, stuff of that nature. Pretty sure she's going first in the WNBA draft. So yeah, she has a very bright future. I pray God grant her health and that she can be able to just continue this display because it's definitely must see TV when like she plays because she just again she has everything that you kind of need as far as offensively from a point guard standpoint, the court vision, the wherewithal to run a pick and roll, and again the unseen shooting ability from a female. Um, and like she just like I said it to like my wife. I feel like she can definitely be what Jordan is to the NBA because it's just like I didn't have the chance to actually see like a live game of Jordan playing. Um, Definitely Jordan was right before my time, but when like he made his mark on the sports world, definitely was above for my time. But it's as far as just this the generational talent and just the how much she's going to be marketed once she step foot in the WNBA. She's going to have endorsements at the wazoo. So I just feel like she can definitely be that. She can definitely be the greatest female basketball player ever. Definitely, she has that much swagger, that much marketability, that much game to be cemented. But I just pray that she stay healthy and she just continue doing what she been doing. So shout out Caitlin Clark. All right, so moving on to where should I go next? Cause yeah, these some topics today. Let's go with it would all make sense. So let's do E15. All right. Now, again, and I have touched on many kind of like topics, in these first 7, now 8 episodes. But something that God has put in my perspective of late, because one thing about this journey called life, you go through seasons, you go through phases, you go through different droughts, you go through feast or famine periods, and I'm here. I'm a living witness that things will all make sense. It would all make sense when it needs to make sense. When things are falling apart, think of it like this: when things are falling apart, rather you're getting evicted, your car got totaled, or is being towed because you fell behind on car payments. Your kids acting up, you can't see your kids. Kids failing in school, your spouse not doing right, cheating or lost their job, whatever the case may be, whatever scenario your health is failing, whatever the case may be, I'm here to tell you at almost age 27, I'll be 27 on the 20th of this month, God willing. I'm here to tell you it will all make sense. It may not seem like it because trust me, I'm I have been there. I have been there. Like, how is this gonna pan out? How? I'm gonna, not without going to like really deep detail. I'm gonna just say this. I called my insurance. My car insurance is through Progressive, right? Just to update, my wife's name on the insurance policy, right? Talked to a gentleman named Paul. Forgot his last name. Talked to this gentleman named Paul, right? And you can tell that he likes his job and he's very detailed, right? So just calling to this update her name because we're married and stuff like that. She still has her maiden name. Just to call to update that, right? I end up, being on the phone for an hour, right? This man not only cleared my policy, but reimbursed me money because he saw that I was getting overcharged. Had no foreknowledge of this. No foreknowledge at all because insurance is just that and stuff of that nature and different from numerous insurance agents they tell you shit like like your policy go up just cause pretty much there's a multitude of reasons why your policy go up this and third but this gentleman decided to say hey let me showcase my ability of doing my job thoroughly and clear my policy and reimburse me a pretty decent amount. And me and the wife are able to take care of some things. And like uh, again, wasn't in in the mindset of okay, I'm gonna ask, hey, have I been overpaying? But is this showcase how God works in mysterious ways? And I'm here to be a testament that things happen completely out of your control, whether we like it or not, is setting up us to get to where we need to go. It's setting up so that God can be um, on full display to where you can't say, oh, it was like, because I don't see that as this, oh, Paul necessarily doing like his job, because yeah, he is doing his job, but Paul don't know me. He could have seen that and just said, "Oh, you just want to update her name? All right, okay, cool. It just so happened that I got connected with somebody that is detailed enough to do that. It's not a coincidence. It's not luck. It's not it is God's timing. It's what it is. No matter what I did, all roads led to that moment. And that's why I'm saying it will all make sense. Like no matter what you're going through, and it can be the worst of the worst. It can be shit that literally could bring you to your knees. But and not to sound morbid or to sound very insensitive, but it's certain moments, it's certain situations that needs to happen where you have to lose it all. You have to lose loved ones. You have to lose things that you value so much, whether it be jobs, loved ones, or material things, so that you can get closer to God. And I know people like just have a hard like they go through their whole life like nah that does not make sense like this and that third, but you gotta think about it like this. You didn't ask to be born. You didn't ask to be born. And with that being said, like, and I have said this, we are all tools. We have a unique ability and a unique purpose. You think of a car has a unique purpose to get you from point A to point B, right? If you think of uh, a knife, has a multitude of purposes to bring harm to people, to you know um, dissect food, to divide food, it like to do a multitude of things. Like, and that's what like God is the ultimate craftsman. So when you think like things are just falling apart and you're gonna be just demolished by everything falling apart. This happening, that happening, this happening, and it's just man, like it's over with for me. Things are gonna fall in place. Things fall apart so that they can fall in place. So if you don't take nothing from today's episode, jot that down. Things fall apart so that they can fall in place, and it will all make sense. All right. Moving on to the next topic. Let's go with staying locked in. Oh yeah, 1536. All right, 1536. Okay, staying locked in. Um, man, this is a tough one for me and just a multitude of like people, because staying locked in is easier said than done, because we live in a day and age where we're being um petitioned and we're being tempted from a multitude of like sources. So it's hard to just remain, firm on the task at hand. But at the end of the day, look at life when you don't lock in versus when you do lock in. And speaking for like myself, God has a unique calling upon my life that sometimes I get to a point to where like, man, like why is my crown so heavy? But that's just again going back to what I just said. Um, the uniqueness of everybody, and that's just something that's unique about me. I don't necessarily have like God has granted me grace for many years. Like I didn't have to go through a lot of turmoil. As a kid, I was definitely my house was definitely financially stable. From my recollection, from my perspective, never went through any periods where lights were off or we was being evicted or nothing of that nature. So I'm thankful to God and my parents that they did what they had to do to hold down the fort. But as far as me being individual with my own family, um, I have to reach a certain point where I'm locked in, like where I'm working 60 plus or more hours doing my pod, DJing, doing weddings, doing a multitude of things. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm just saying, like, in order to get to a certain place, again, look at your life when you're kicking your feet up, you're chilling, and everybody's granted that. But at the end of the day, it's a certain level that's required for you to have that chill moment without freaking out or feeling like, damn, like should I really be chilling right now? And like that's the worst feeling, because you can be doing anything that grants you peace, that grants you whether it's pleasurable or it's peaceful or it's joyful, and that can be brought to a immediate halt. Your attention span can immediate change when like damn, should I really be kicking it? Should I really be woo? Because it is just the fact being like, okay, now like I'm worried now that something is off. And I know what, like me, sometimes I get to that point to where I can't enjoy moments because I'm so locked in. So there is a balance that you have to have, church and state, or just peace and priority and stuff of that nature. But everybody's life is different. um God has a calling for everybody's life. So the call on my life is I have to spend a lot more time being locked in than probably most people. And that's okay. Like for years I used to try to like again like why woo, woo. But I know now the path that I am on, for the most part. And as I continue to grow and get older, more would be revealed to me as far as is what's required day in day out, and I'm grateful for that, because a lot of people, and God will allow you to do this too, will run from that like their whole life. Like, nah, I'm not gonna answer that call. That's way too much. How, like, why am I going through this? Why do I have to lose loved ones? Why do I have to, every time I I, I get something, it always falls apart? Like, why? Ooh, and like, I get the frustration. I understand that, because it is just, it kind of messes with your mind, because now you're waiting for the shoe to drop. But again, falling apart so things can fall together, and it's just, you gotta remain locked in. And I know it's difficult, whoever may be watching, again, whatever you're going through, I just pray something is said that can give you that spark to be like, no, all right, come on, let me lock in. Let me really assert myself. Pause. Like, it's as far as this, um the things that I'm capable of doing, because only you know your level of just focusedness when you're fully locked in. Only you know how, like, the realms and the depths and the valleys you're able to, go through when you're fully locked in. So I encourage you, if you have any like doubt that, man, like, like working two jobs is crazy, man. Like, I've been doing this for X amount of years. I encourage you to lock in something that, I was talking to a coworker about not too long ago, is this, you know going, like, going over, like, my life, looking over my life, and saying, man, like, I've been working two jobs, I've done that, I've done this, woo, woo, woo. Something that I have to remind myself, again, look at life when I'm not locked in versus when I am locked in. And sometimes you gotta fire on all cylinders at all times. And that's just what's required. And to kind of transition to my next topic, I'm gonna just, again, challenge you. Um, if you have any doubt about your ability, how can you refocus, switch beats, change lanes to lock back in? And to kind of segue to the next topic, you are your own help. We had 22, 20, 22, 56. You are your own help, to kind of, it's kind of like a perfect segue. Um, with with that being said, nobody else is going to be there to help, not necessarily help you lock in, but you can have motivation. You can have people in your corner to help you, you know, put things in perspective, to encourage you to lock in. But you have to be the person that really locks in. You are your own help. And with that being said, what I mean by that is, and it's something I have been teaching myself lately. Sometimes, whether it be a financial situation, or spiritual situation, or a marital situation, any a situation, I'm looking for, you know, just a I don't know, a scholar or somebody with a great mind, and be like, this is what you should do, and this is guaranteed to work. And is this, a lot of time, you taking leap to faith. Sometimes only you have your spouse, your children, God, and yourself. You guys are your own help. If it's not coming from that camp, I mean, that's it. I mean, you can't ask nobody else for any help, because help is, for one, help is expensive. And I'm not just talking about financially. People don't like to help. People don't like to help. People can see you having a heart attack or stroke, and they'll walk right past you. That's just the society that, like, we live in. Nobody's obligated to help you with anything, because it's just, people feel as if they nobody helped me, and it's a sad reality, but it's a true reality, and that's something else I'm learning, like, and I'm gonna kind of touch bases on different topics about things being true to reality, but to kind of stay on topic is just the fact being like you gotta really challenge yourself in that department too of just really, okay, how can I cut out asking for help, or how can I be more helpful to my situation? Because I feel like anything that you experience, any problem, there's an answer to the problem. And sometimes, and I do this a lot too, um, not necessarily run away from the answer, but be like, I already know what I gotta do, because like it's just like fuck, I gotta handle this, and that's part of being a man, woman, a fully grown adult human being. That you have to be helpful, whether that's exerting a lot of energy to prevent you from asking for help, or doing things that's required. And I know, to kind of go back to um what I was saying, as far as I had to challenge myself to just really just, okay, like, as far as me locking in, I have to do what works. And sometimes it's almost like playing a sport. For like example, basketball. If you're running pick and roll one play and you score, next play you get the ball, you run pick and roll again and you score. Okay, we didn't figure it out something. We didn't figure a chink in the armor. So you have to exploit that. So if working two jobs is what's required, so that a motherfucker don't knock on your door saying, "Hey, you got to get out," or you getting harassed through email, or motherfuckers blowing up your phone, "Hey, you forgot to pay us." Like, that shit is mad annoying. You gotta block 18 different numbers, you know, so that you can have peace and quiet, and motherfuckers sending you emails. Hey, if you don't pay us, this is gonna go to collections, and ooh, like it is this unnecessary shit. So, um, challenge yourself to see how you can be helpful to your situation. And if you gotta ask for help, that's fine. I'm not saying don't ever, ever, ever ask for help, but remember, at the end of the day, you are your own help. Whether it's asking for help or being helpful to yourself in the situation. And again, I know, doing certain things repetitively is monotonous, or doing things that is is so draining and so tired. But that's why God put restrictions on our mind, body, but not the spirit. Spirit is so complex, um that we're still trying to figure that out. That in the brain, of course, but our brain has limits. But our spirit is forever. Is the energy that God created to create us as individuals is something that only He can explain. But as far as this, pushing boundaries, exerting yourself in every aspect to get to where you need to go for you and yours, is something that you have to remember. Okay, whoever is in this camp, this is where the help is going to come from. So that's how I feel about that topic. So moving on to the next topic. Hmm. Whew, these next three gonna be spicy. Let's go with plain sight prejudice. Now, I feel like I just kind of learned the definition of prejudice like literally like a year or two ago, because it's just a fact of being. I thought prejudice was just another word for being racist, but you learn something new every day, and we have all been prejudiced. We have all been prejudiced towards something, because you Google what prejudice actually means. It's a preconceived notion without plausible facts. So, with that being said, like for like example, because I stutter, you would think that some people may think I can't speak at all, or some people may think that I have trouble communicating with others because I stutter. A preconceived notion. You have to actually be around me enough to gather factual, actual, you know, results to say, hey, yeah, he does this. So I feel like plain sight prejudice is just feel like this is kind of like gonna segue into like my last two topics for today. But I'm talking about this topic because it's just like it's just a lot of just like things going on in the world that kind of like behooves me. Like whether it's politics or whatever the case may be, where it's just if something happened, we just run with it. We score a touchdown. We do the touchdown dance because we just feel like we got it all figured out. Whether it's social media, politics, whatever. Like, and I just feel like a lot of people have gotten a bad rap because of one incident, whether it's a celebrity or just um anything, because I just literally just got done watching this documentary on Netflix, 137 shots. And if you're not familiar with the topic, this was in Cleveland. Um, not it was like 2012, I think. Happened 12 years ago. Um, Cleveland police was chasing a old Chevy with two individuals in it that backfired. And they thought that they were getting shot at, and then they chased them to like this school parking lot, had them boxed in, and they fired 137 shots because they felt fear of their life, and because they thought they saw a gun. This and third, one cop went to the street to hop on the hood of the car and continue to shoot. And again, like watching that documentary, it just shows us that preconceived notion of being prejudiced towards everything because you thought you seen a gun in a moment. You thought you were in fear of your life because you thought XYZ was happening, like without actual facts. No weapon was ever found. No, no, nothing. Not even a bullet was found in that car. And if you know the story, you know these cops. Only one cop. I think his name is Brelo. He got he went to trial because he did the most egregious act, but of course he got off. And I feel like what was so gripping about that documentary, pause, was he was either I think the union president of the police in Cleveland at the time. I don't know dude name, but I feel like every time they had the camera on this motherfucker, it was real cringy. It was real just like it was real prejudice. It was real racist. It was real political because it's just like one thing I have a innate ability to read people, to really study people. Like I'm long winded, but I'm long winded because I'm not prejudiced. I study. I study people relentlessly. People that I meet, I read vibes, this and third. Every time this motherfucker had screen time on his documentary, it was never like, hey, my officers did something egregious, they need to be held accountable. It was always, they did like the best like they could, they did it by the book. This is just, again, somebody, they're trying to throw good cops in jail and make them criminal. This is why you shouldn't, sanction police and let police be police. Like I always say this when appropriate. I'm a man before I'm anything, but I'm a human being before I'm anything. I don't care if it's my parents. I don't care if it's my wife. I don't care if it's my firstborn child or any of my children. Wrong is just that. It's universal. It's uniform. Like, you can't justify somebody hopping on a car after in the middle of gunfire too to shoot down on people because he has a preconceived notion that he's in fear for his life, or a preconceived notion that he see a gun without actual facts. And then to segue to the fact that, again, you're being prejudiced, saying that all cops are under a lot of stress and this and the third. Like, bro, like, ain't like, you feel as if hopping on the hood of a car is appropriate. And then before they took the shoe print, Brelo was denying the shit. Like, it the shit is not funny, but it's comical, man. Like, it's comical that we can protect our own because of a preconceived notion that we are a family. It's a blue wall. It's this, that, and the third. And I give you another example. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about this documentary or seen it on the news. Madoff, the Madoff murders. If you guys are not familiar with that, it was 2019, right? It's a rich family out in South Carolina. They have ties in everything law based, lawyers, judges, and Madoff actually have they I'm not sure if they're still active, but they have / had a law firm, and they had pull and rank out there where they're at. Grandson of Madoff, I think his name's Paul Madoff. Him and his friends were involved in a boating accident where he was intoxicated, and one of his best friend's girlfriends ended up dying. And because he has pull, his I think it was his pops and his grandfather. They was like, hey, say such and such was driving, hey, because they have this preconceived notion that they're big dogs because I have money, because my name has weight. I can do whatever I want. This preconceived notion of just I'm unstoppable because I have money, because my name rings bells in this community. I'm above everything, So he never went to trial, nothing. Fast forward, he ended up getting killed. Him and his mom ended up getting killed. Long and behold, the motherfucking father did it. For what reason? I'm not even remotely sure. Me personally, if I had to just throw a dart, I feel like maybe his wife got tired of his shit, because being around type of family that snobby and just entitled and prejudiced and racist and stuff of that nature, some people may get tired of that, or maybe the money stopped coming in, or because along with that, he was he was in the process of being disbarred and thrown from his own family's law firm. The father, that is, I forgot his first name, but um yeah, and that that all happened, and he ended up getting sentenced to life and stuff of that nature. But it's just the fact being like, whether it's uh the Rockefellers, the Bezos, the whoever's, I would never understand this preconceived notion of I'm better because I'm wealthier. I'm better because my family owns this. I'm better because this, that, and the third. Better. There is no unequivocal way of deciding what's better and what's not, unless it's put to the test, right? That's why I love sports so much, because, well, typically, in this day and age with sports betting, we don't know what's what. But let's just go back to when I first started watching sports. Like, let's just say 2008, like really, really started watching it crazy. Like 2008 through about 2000, let's just say about 15, 16, right? Let's just say in that time period, you match up with a team, and you can see unequivocally who's better, right? And I just feel like, just because you have one distinction, it don't make you better. And when you just talking about characteristics of one human being to the next, it's gonna always be a disparity. It's never gonna be uniform, because some side has something that the other side don't. So how can there ever be I'm better than you? Like, how? How? You may have money, but I have character. I may have money, but you have character. Like, it does not make sense. There is always going to be a disparity on what you market as greater than. So we always live in this paradigm of false narrative, false facts, true lies, and some false facts. That's what this shit is. And I just challenge you to pay attention, to whether it be in more and more than likely the companies that you work for, how they carry, like the owners and the managers and GMs, how do they carry themselves around you. I'm not saying fuck up the church money as far as just don't work and this, that, and third, because it's hard. It's hard to stay away from people like that. It's hard to stay away as far as this in a work setting. Outside of work, fuck these people. But in a work setting, you have to really build a mental fortress, a mental sanctuary to escape these people. But just pay attention. And if you see people who have this plain sight prejudice, where they're snotty, they're not appreciative of the things that you do. I'm not saying they're throwing confetti and they're throwing you a parade and they're getting you a company car. I'm not saying they're gonna do that, but just hey man, thank you for showing up to work. Hey man, thank you for working hard. Ooh, and everybody don't necessarily have to do that every single day, and a lot of employers don't even want to applaud you from doing what you're supposed to do. But I could be doing what I'm supposed to do anywhere else, but I'm choosing to do it here. So I'm not saying throw confetti, throw the smoke in the air like Brian every time, every Friday that I work five days and you hand me a check. Hey, congratulations. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, once you see hard work exhibited day in, day out, at least bare minimum, hey man, I see you, bro. Good shit. That's it. You don't have to give me a gift card to Ruth Chris. You don't have to, you know, do no weird shit. But it's just the fact being like acknowledgement goes a long way, and just being in a place and space to where you feel comfortable. You don't have to deal with that shit, because speaking from experience, when people have this preconceived notion of you, they tend to overwork you. They tend to feel as if I'm gonna hold Raymond to a higher standard than I hold Randall to because Raymond He does everything right. He shows up to work. He don't complain. He does what I ask him to do. He does it well, but it's something missing. I feel like he should do this more, or I feel like he's doing everything right, but he needs to do something else more. That's prejudice, because you don't have any facts to back up your tactics. Everything is squared away. That's like saying the house is spick and spam. Is I can motherfucking see my reflection, but the house is dirty. What, like that does not make sense. You're mixing facts. The facts are in your face, but you still don't see it. So this, I challenge you to be aware of your environment. Be aware of people who exhibit these tendencies. And to go to the next topic, the manifest destiny. So I think it was, yeah, a few days ago. I had to kind of remind myself of what that means. And pretty much is this a a weird theory of one race of people or one bracket of people is the saving grace for all humanity, and it justifies wrongdoing to other cultures, um other people. And I feel like that's what the United States should be called, the United Manifest Destiny of America, because it's just the fact being like, and this is deeper than politics. This is deeper than um any election. Is this is what the the mind of, I guess you can say, of a European, or who, I'm trying to like categorize this right, because not all Europeans think like this. It's some black people who think like this. Um, but I'm trying to not to pigeonhole all Europeans. I'm gonna just say most Europeans, and most Europeans back in the let's just say this 15th through like about the early 19th century, think like, okay, I am the saving grace for all humanity. I'm 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 like the I'm I'm Jesus. This blasphemy. Like, I'm the savior of all nations, and I feel like people of color or different minority groups, they are the bane of all existence, and they need to be exterminated, or they need to be delegated to live a certain way. And I just feel as human beings, and I remember watching a documentary about dictatorship, not about dictatorship. um like, where it was saying how, like, humans, like, kind of have a underlying condition to be ruled by others, and I don't necessarily think that's true. um I feel like we would love people to be in different positions to, you know rally us as a collection, but to solely and utterly be led by one family of people or one person for all our existence. I don't necessarily think that's true. I mean, is there uh is is there something that we feel connected to having a a leader? Yeah, because I feel like one person, like, let's say for like example, like a dictator, you feel as if you're being heard. This person represents me. This person knows me. And that's far from the truth. It's people who sell you just like with Manifest Destiny. And I feel like this is kind of like a web to all of these theologies of just how people think is just the fact being um like people like love to be misled. In my opinion, people love to have false hope. People love to put all of their problems onto Democrats or Republicans. And like I said, you are your own help. I don't care what political party that you side with. I don't vote. I choose not to exercise that right. I know people who look like me, hung, bled, and died for that right. And I'm not disrespecting their sacrifice. I feel like people should have the option to do as they please. If like it should never be hindered because you're a woman. It should never be hindered because you're a person of color. If you choose to do that, that should matter. Me personally, the reason why I don't vote because again, I don't feel even if uh, a black candidate runs, I would feel more compelled to really do my research on a black candidate if let's say for example they running for like the office to be president because when Obama was in office, I was a kid, so I didn't, have the right to vote because I was, a kid. But the fact being, like, when if and when that happens uh, again, I would be a little bit more inclined to vote because somebody that kind of looks like me. But in the same breath, not to contradict myself, I don't know. I don't know what strings are being pulled behind the scenes. I don't know like act like your morals and values. I don't know what agenda you're putting to the public, and then behind closed door, okay, we got them with the okie doke, but here's what we really gonna do. Like I don't know like your true attention, so I can't side with you 1,000%. I'm not gonna show up to every rally and do this and third, but to kind of get back to the topic at hand, the manifest destiny is just the fact being like um people have this urge to just feel superior. And I feel like it all stems from like I was just ranting about with the different political parties and stuff of that nature. I feel as if um people just have this dying urge to be superior, and I feel like this has really eroded the fabric of humanity. Just this this theology of feeling like it's them versus me, or um again because of my last name I'm superior. And again, there is no unequivocal way of just saying I'm better than you just because I have access to shit because of you know I was born stuff that's out of everybody's control. I was born in wealth. I was born in the wealth, and I was born into poor. But it's people who have been poor that has became rich, and people who have been born rich that's died broke. So I don't feel like this manifest destiny mentality of just justifying brutality, justifying the people being ignorant, justifying people being just downright deplorable and vile to people because of something that was written and something that was thought about way before anybody who's alive and breathing was even a thought. Was generations and generations ago this shit was thought about, and it's just the fact that it's been carried along from the Thomas Jeffersons to the Jefferson Davis to the Willie Lynches to the Ronald Reagans to the what's dude name um hot like J. Edgar Hoover's like all these people I feel like study from the same playbook, but they kind of like um enforced it for like the error standards, and we're seeing it today still, with how shit is being ran. Is just me personally, I don't feel the urge to kneel before a supreme leader. I don't serve man at all. I don't serve um I if and I feel like I said this before on the show. If I had a pronoun, it would be king. Outside of him, it would be king. God has elected me to a higher calling, like I said, and I consider myself a king. King don't serve other kings in that aspect, and you may consider yourself a king or a queen. And me personally, I don't kneel before man. I don't kneel before anybody outside of my queen, God, and um my wife. I don't kneel before nobody else. Nobody else. So it is just the fact of being I don't have this urge to, oh, old Obama the Great or whoever the Great, you are my like, nah. What are you saving me for, really? In like all actuality, what are you saving me from? You're not saving me from debt. You're not saving me from judgment. You're not saving me from from like dying. What, what are you really saving me from? So for people to have, again, this preconceived notion, this prejudice, this plain sight prejudice, or still living off the theology that was written many moons ago of just, oh, okay, um we have to dominate this group of people, we have to manipulate, we have to pillage, we have to just be as despicable to this group of minorities because we want to eradicate their mind to get them to do whatever we say. I For the life of me, I don't get it. And feel free to comment in the comment section if anything that makes sense about this topic makes sense. Because I don't get the theology of it. I don't get the theory. I don't get the end game, because a lot of things that I do with a purpose, a end in sight. I don't just do it and get halfway through it, but like, damn, how the fuck is this supposed to end? Like, I don't get to the get halfway through and be like, damn, like, and I feel like this is what a lot of people do. Like, they get halfway through whatever they're trying to force upon people and be like, oh shit, this is not working. Let me backtrack. Like, and you can't do that, because what happens is you get people who are going to crash out and just continue to, because they don't want to admit, damn, I got misled. So it's people who going to continue to push that narrative. It's people who have been killed because of what they believe in and what you have told them, or it's been people who have been standing guard to resist this shit. And you kind of gotta live with that. So you can't back out once shit is all ready going. So that's how I feel about that topic. And to segue to the last topic of the United States, we have 5839. And I'm not sure if I said this in a previous pod episode, but I'm gonna just reiterate it. Actually, I have. There's not really no uniform way to decide American. I know people who feel like that's kind of a dumb statement. If you're born here, you are American, and that is true. But two truths can exist at the same time. I can feel like, yeah, I'm a American citizen, but I'm not a American citizen. If that makes sense, you'll catch that when you get home. As far as just feeling very American, because all of these things, land out of free, and your constitutional rights and XYZ. When you really like study it, you see that it's only in effect for a certain class of people. It's only beneficial when it's beneficial, when it needs to be you know, beneficial. Um, I had seen on the 137 shots documentary, all them cops that fired a shot and pursued that vehicle, all of them elected to use their amendment Fifth Amendment right. This is not you shot at an empty car. You killed two people. The fuck do you mean? Let me, and you're a cop, so you don't feel like your sworn duty is to tell what the fuck happened. Let me just like that don't make sense to me. But in the world that we live in the country that we live in, that's perfectly fine. Because it's your rights as a American. And I just feel like that's just a cop out. That's just it only applies when it needs to be beneficial to a certain class, a certain group of people. And I feel like it is just sad to see that um, a lot of things happen, and it's just like we kind of sweep it under like the rug. Like if from the George Floyd to the Breonna Taylor to all these things that happen, we kind of sweep it under like the rug. Like, oh, we just it's a formality of what's about to play out, because they always say in the ramifications of how the law was written, and the ramifications of how things was done, and the ramifications of how your training was, this and the third. It was a justified act. And I just feel like that's where we get ununited. When there's a division between anything, I'm going to talk about a country. When there's a division, when there's a different way of thinking that's not uniform, that's how you get ununited. You're united when you're uniform. You're united when you are at one accord. So that's why a few years back, when I really stopped and thought about make America great again. When has America ever been great? Slavery, segregation, lynching, um, the Zeus riots, um, it's endless race riots. You know, when has that ever been great? Like, and same thing goes with this topic. When has the United States ever been united? Has never been a uniform way of thinking. It's always been that manifest destiny. You are subservient to um you know the Europeans or the conquerors of this land, and that's it. That's it. Like, you don't really have free will. And like, it's crazy how um that works, and it only benefits a certain class of like people. And you kind of gotta roll with the punches of just, oh, okay, this is what being united looks like. This is what a united front looks like. Even during wars, and World War II, it was segregation. In World War II, we're fighting the same enemy, but we're segregated. Makes zero sense. Makes zero sense. So it's always been a very obvious division. Nothing has ever been united in this country. Nothing. Like, um, we only kind of stand together when it's a common enemy. So you telling me buildings got to be hit by planes in order for people to stand together in solidarity? I don't. That's really, really egregious. Unless it's a foreign enemy, that's the only time we can unite. And okay, we gotta go shed some blood. We gotta get some get back. Like, what is that? Like that does not make sense to me one bit. And I remember saying this. I feel like um, not in my lifetime am I ever going to see that where it's a uniform nation. It's a uniform front to hold people accountable for wrongdoing. I don't care if I'm purple, orange, gray, white, yellow, whatever the color of my skin is. If I rob a store, let's just say I'm a cop. If I rob a store in plain clothes as a cop and I get caught, there, you know, other cops may argue, oh, we got cutbacks on, hours, he didn't he was forced to do that, that's not his character. Hey, he served our country. He did ROTC back in high school. He served our country. He that is not him. That is not who he is. He was just trying to feed his family. Fuck that. Fuck that. I committed a crime. Don't try to spin it to make me out to be, yes, I may have been all these things that were said, right? However, in that moment, I committed a crime. I don't care if I was a preacher. I don't care if I was a pope. I don't care who I am. In that moment, I committed a crime and I need to be held accountable. I just hate that. I just like, and hate is definitely a strong word, but I despise that. Like how like why are you making up all these, not making up, but like using all of my good characteristics to make me out to be this angel when I did something devious. You know, rather it's, like let's just say I just, robbed a store, nobody got hurt and I got caught. I still robbed the store. I probably traumatized the clerk. All these things. I still need to be held accountable. I need to reimburse the store with interest. I need to be held accountable. But in other countries, you would motherfucking lose your hands for like doing shit like that, for like stealing. So it just behooves me that, like, if a crime is being committed, whether you're a cop or you're a politician or like you somebody of elected status, because if you're a public figure, if you're an athlete, and I have said this on the pod before, that's elected privilege, that's elected status. And things about elections, that shit, you can be re-elected or you can be unelected. Either way, it's a revolving door. It's a turning table. It's turntables. So let's just say I blow up off of my pod, or I blow up off of DJing, or I blow up off rapping, or I blow up off of whatever. That's elected popularity. That's elected. I'm an elected public figure. Meaning at any time I can be on TMZ. Hey, Radot's a drug addict. Radot beats his wife. Radot's a deadbeat father. Like, narratives would come out the wazoo at any given time. If I don't take a picture, oh, he's a horrible person. He's a prima donna. He's like, so all these these things come with that. So I just feel like, um speaking for people 100 years down the line, because in this day and age, it's not gonna happen. Being ununited brings a profit. It keeps balance in society for people who want balance more than anything other than um making shit really balanced. They want balance on their end, on their scale. So speaking for people 100 years from now, I would challenge you to not overthrow the government, not to use violence, um not to do things to bring more shame to this nation. I would challenge you to find a real solution to the things that has brought division, such as holding people accountable. No matter what a person's status is, hold them accountable. No matter what it takes, do the right thing. No matter what it takes, stand for something other than your own personal morals and values. Um, unite to be on one accord, to have a uniform morals and value, to have a system that helps out everybody, not just one class, not just one group, not just one race, like to really navigate and segue everything to be on one united front, not just is good for people who have this last name or that last name, or who can dribble the ball, or who can catch a ball. They can only touch $1 million. They can only, you know, live their life comfortably. Everybody else got to pillage and rob and steal and do egregious things and be real cringy in order to make any um financial gain or attain financial wealth. I would challenge you to rewrite that type of way of thinking, that type of way of like moving, because it's something very special when you can live in a society when you can walk down the street and people and you feel comfortable around every race of people. Um, you don't feel like everything is fake and phony when somebody speaks to you. You don't feel unsafe when a black person walks past you, whether you're black or white or whatever. Or you don't feel like if somebody from the Middle East or Middle Eastern descent is on a plane with you, you don't feel like, oh, they have a bomb. Like you don't feel those type of weird things. So I challenge you to just bring a united front to society and see how peaceful society is. You will see a drop off in everything. Better everything. Whatever you can think of, it would be a immediate uptick. In include everybody in what you're doing, and be upfront, be honest. Don't be deceitful, and you will see just how peaceful society and how united this state can really be. So I leave you with that. Um, I definitely pray something was said on today's episode that can help you get through this week. And I just pray that you guys find peace on this week. I pray that you get through this week happy, healthy, and whole. And again, I will continue to bring this content. And I don't know why I have not did this, but follow me on TikTok, add me on Facebook at DJ Scotty 2 If you want any parties to be lit, email me at djscotty2 at gmail.com. It's almost prom season, y'all. Hey, it's almost grad season. Fuck with me, fuck with me. I would have that shit as lit can be. Trust me. I do more than just stutter for a whole hour and 14 minutes. I know how to throw a good ass party. And again, if you add me on any of my on Facebook or on TikTok, you will see it. You will see the versatility. So until we meet again, pray for happiness, pray for health, pray for joy, and I pray for peace over your life. So this is DJ Scotty 2 aka Ray Dot, signing off. Till we meet again. Peace. If I can end the fucking video, it's tight. All right, y'all. Peace.